As the Trump administration dismantles the Department of Education, people are wringing their hands, they're screaming, they're crying, they're saying that children can't be educated anymore and that teachers are going to go without any kind of pay or anything. And that's not the case at all. In fact, there's probably going to be more money for education at the end of the day after cutting out the middleman and sending money to the states. But understand what that money was buying. Okay, you talk about teachers. Well, most of the time that means give outs, handouts, and big packages of dollar bills to the teachers' unions. And it means pushing a woke ideology on our kids behind our back without our knowledge. And a perfect example is right here in the Washington, D.C. area, Fairfax County. They used to boast that they had the finest public school system in the nation. Not anymore, because they've gone completely woke. The chairman of the school board for Fairfax County is a childless gay man who, when sworn into office, didn't use a Bible or any holy book. He swore in on a stack of kiddie porn that he vowed to keep in the libraries so that our children could be exposed to it. Gay porn, I should be specific. Have you noticed when they ensure that there is porn in the public school libraries, it's always gay porn. Always. Not that I want any porn there, but, mix it up. Little diversity, perhaps. So here's the latest out of Fairfax County Public Schools. The story was featured last night on Laura Ingram's show.
Now to Fairfax County, Virginia, another liberal enclave. It's hard to get them confused sometimes, where one high school allegedly has a new twist on the alphabet. According to the mom of a sophomore, West Springfield High School has a Women's History Month display called The ABCs to Me, where A no longer stands for apple. Now A is for abortion. H is for hope, with a photo of Kamala Harris. Q is for not quick or quiet, it's for queer. And of course, no woke alphabet is complete without a T for trans woman. Joining me now is a mother exposing it all, Stephanie Lundquist Aurora. She's also a chapter leader at the Independent Women's Network. Stephanie, your son took the photos. These are, let me just say, from the daughter in Deerfield to your son, kids aren't taking this anymore.
You just have to be so proud of these kids. I mean, really, they're leading the battlefront on this, I think. Laura, I just found out a mom called me and she told me that her son had actually ripped down the A's for abortion sign. He was upset and he was brought into the principal's office and they counseled him and they said, well, you had such a visceral reaction to this. And I think that's just absurd. I mean, how could you not have an emotive reaction to this? Even adults do. And so I'm really proud of the students who are stepping up and saying, this isn't right. This isn't the kind of school we want to be in. This is indoctrination. It's not education. And there's a lot of them.
Fairfax County is one of the most left-wing counties in the country. Bedroom community of Washington, D.C. A lot of government bureaucrats. Sadly, they're going to be out of work soon. But Stephanie, we tried to get answers from the school. All they told us was this is a student-led history project that's part of an elective women's history class. So not teacher driven? Was that a student who came up with that?
Oh, I can't imagine that a student came up with all of them. It was so ideologically one-sided that how could the students have come up with all of it? Like L is for leadership was another one of the letters. And the only leaders on there were Democratic females. They could have had there were so many different options. Pam Bondi, Tulsi Gabbard, they could have put that on their L for leadership, but they chose not to. And I think that that's probably coming from the teacher and it's supported by the administration. The display is still standing there. And the school policy, as you mentioned, also supports it.
I have an idea. Why don't you do your own alphabet and you can say L is for Laura, M is for MAGA. You can do the whole thing. D is for Doge. So do your alternative and say, we want to put that up right next to those ABCs. Stephanie, keep us informed. Great to see you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Good work for your son.
I don't know if that's the solution there, Laura Ingram. Maybe the solution is to get all of the ideology out of our school system and maybe focus on learning and teaching and educating. This is a high school, by the way, and they're just learning their ABCs. Things are going great in Fairfax County, Virginia. Listen, the full story is over at Daily Signal. And it's great. It's a really good story, and I implore you to check it out and read the whole thing. They do great work over at Daily Signal. Love these guys. And they've got all of these pictures of all of the letters. This is the school system in Fairfax County, Virginia. This is their policy that they push this kind of stuff. And they're the first persons who are going to be screaming how they need your tax dollars, not just the tax dollars from the people who live in Fairfax County, which would be one thing. No. They want your tax dollars. You living in Oklahoma or Wyoming or in Texas. No, your federal tax dollars need to go and pay for this. And you heard Laura mention Deer Park. That was in Illinois. Have you seen this story? Where in this school system in Illinois, young girls were forced to get undressed in a locker room, exposed to a naked boy identifying as a girl. And the teachers stood guard at the door to keep the girls from going somewhere else.
I'm here to demand that the locker rooms and bathrooms at District 109 be designated as biological male and biological female, as there already is a gender-neutral option. The girls want their locker rooms and bathrooms back. They want their privacy back. This is why I'm here tonight. My 13-year-old daughter's well-being and mental health and privacy is at stake. This nightmare began on February 5th when my daughter was using the girls' bathroom and was stunned that a biological male student was using it as well. She came home frightened and was extremely upset. I asked her to talk with her teachers and find out more information. She was told by the administration that a student can use the bathroom as well as a female locker room because they now identify as female. I was sent an email to the teachers involved and received a call from Principal Wegley. He verbally reiterated that under Joanna Ford's direction and their legal counsel that the student could use both the locker room and bathroom. I expressed that the school was in clear violation of federal policy. The Trump administration issued an executive order restricting biological males from participating in sports and accessing female locker rooms. That day, I filed a civil rights complaint on behalf of my daughter with the Department of Justice. It has now been referred to the Department of Education. A federal complaint has been filed with the district to protect the students. The situation went from bad to worse. A few days later, the male student was present in the girls' locker room. Feeling violated, the girls made the choice to not change into their PE clothes with a biological male student present. The next day, Assistant Principal Kathy Van Treese pulled the girls into their office, questioning them. The same day, Assistant Superintendent Joanna Ford, Kathy Van Treese, and multiple teachers all came into the girls' locker room, making them change into uniform. This went on all week with the addition of Ginger Laugerman. My daughter refused to take part in having her privacy being violated. How dare they? She ran out and called for me for help. Principal Wegley was offering my daughter a new PE class. The answer was no. She is not changing for the remainder of the year, and she is not changing into another class. The girls just want their privacy and they want their locker room back. There are gender neutral options. This is my daughter's story and the story of many other young girls who have been forced at the difficult age to do something they know and most adults know is wrong. Do the right thing, Deerfield, and give these girls their locker room and bathrooms back. Allowing biological males to access girls' locker rooms sets a dangerous precedent that erodes the very foundation of female privacy and safety. By making this decision, the school board is not only disregarding the concerns of young female students and making their families, but also establishing a legal and policy framework that will make it increasingly difficult to protect the integrity of female-only spaces in the future.
God bless that mom. That's what we need is more mom warriors, more fighters. White suburban moms, I'm told, are the big key vote that we need to get. And boy, a whole bunch of them are woke because they got that sign in their front yard, hate has no home here and all that jazz. Well, there's some white suburban moms like this one too. Or on the right side of this. I also want to point out the three wokesters in the back there. You got one wearing the t-shirt, Protect Trans Kids, because that's the kid in this scenario that needs protection. You've got the little rainbow situation with Rockton Pride. And then you got, I don't know what her shirt says, but she's got abnormally dyed red hair. Have you noticed that all three of them are wearing the face masks? Did I miss something? Is there a new pandemic or is it just in the Deerfield, Illinois area that we've got some sort of virus? Oh, it is a virus. It's the woke mind virus. So you got Fairfax, Virginia with their A is for abortion and Q is for queer in their high school. And then you've got these poor girls who were forced by their teachers and their administrators to take off their clothes in front of a biological male who is now identifying as a trans girl. And it just brings us back to one more truth that we try to relay to you as often as possible here. Listen, Trump and the Republicans won the last election. It was great, and it was a huge victory. And Trump's been able to do quite a bit through executive order and hopefully backed up with some legislation here coming up. But it's not over. And we spend so much time focusing on who wins the White House and who's going to be sitting in the Oval Office that we forget one fundamental truth, that this fight does not go away. And frankly, the people in the elections that don't get much attention have more of an influence and impact on your life and on your kids' life than who's sitting in the White House. I don't know why we spend so much money. And so we're already talking about the 2028 presidential election right now. We spend so much energy and so much focus and so much media hype on that election. And when was the last time? Can you name one person on your local school board? And I ask you, when you look at stories like this, who has a bigger impact on your child's life, on your life, in your neighborhood? The person who lives at 1600 Pennsylvania, or the person who lives in your neighborhood and goes and makes decisions at the school board on behalf of your schools, on behalf of your children, and their privacy and their decency and their wholesomeness? This is why the fight continues and why we need to be engaged, because ultimately what happens in your house is always going to be more important than what happens in the White House. And if you don't know one person sitting on your local school board right now, maybe that's a sign that it should be you.